systems that have been infiltrating our landscape of the way we think, the things that we know, and historical facts. Okay, so when you have someone like, and like I said, I listen to Jason Bashir. He's actually has some really great information, because he'll read books that I wouldn't read, and he's really a big literary kind of guy. But you have to remember, when you reference someone like that who comes out of the prison system, and the prison is highly controlled by cats in array and fat black intellects. I change the word all the time. Okay, when it's controlled by that, you have to realize, when someone like that gets let out into society and then all of a sudden they blow up, you got to realize, where have they maybe been used? And I think a lot of his information is true, other than the time frame of the pole shift, which he likens to be 2046. And I personally know that it's 2025 or around that time. It's a lot sooner. And the reason why I think they let him come out without any infiltration is because his time frame of when things will happen will lead people to be more complicit, and they won't be ready for what's coming. That's just my thing. But I actually think he's actually a good reference of a lot of literary things, but they're all controlled literary things that he's read. It isn't things that have been banned from society, banned from your reading, all the banned books. I haven't read all the banned books, but I just know that my Professor Jeffries, the craziest professors all in New York City, that's when New York City has some real professors, all told us to go and source our books out of a library that moved around and had all the books that were banned from the government. When have you ever been to one of those? So when you talk to me, I'm a woman of a certain age, y'all. I know sometimes I look a little foxy. I've been on this planet for a little while. I've been around the block. I've lived a lot of places. I come from foreign people. So I've sourced things that majority of people have never heard of, ever seen, or ever had access to. Okay? Let's get back to it. So why does this matter? Because when we hear things about the real society, and you're only being able to source it through archives that are publicly presented to us, you have to realize that in order for that information to still be lingering out in social media, it is serving governments and is serving the so-called occultists that allow that information to be able to be sourced. But there are things about it that are untrue, or are presenting themselves in ways to influence how you think about it. So that's why I'm saying with the Vril, the whole concept of the Vril was connected to the Nazis, the so-called Nazi, a German society, an occult society, but they always likened it to be connected to males. And then when you go a little closer and you look into it from different angles, you find that it's a female, it's a matriarchy type of society where these females had full control. And they were utilizing their ability, because I personally think that they're the ones who initiated this insectoid to go up the butt. And I personally think that they're the reasons why all these governmental systems are using forms of MK Ultra sexual magic through the anal cavity in order to infect children, adults, and take over their mind and use mind control programming. Because remember, insectillions, what did I tell you about insectillions? They are all very Borg-like, and they have a one mindset, like a hive mind. So like a spider, a bee, there's always a cub in their collective. And with the Vril, it's just like that. So if you put a Vril worm into someone, infect them, they will have not only access to the hive if they're high enough in consciousness, but the hive will have access to them. And what I found out is that not only will the hive have access to them, they will be able to control them, because I also think that the Vril in itself might be some sort of non-organic form of AI worm. It's not a natural worm. This is an opinion. Now, normally I tell you facts, but it's like Borg-like. It's like an AI, kind of like a worm / robotoid that is infiltrating that space. And maybe it's become organic over the years. Maybe that was the base of it. I don't know. Okay. So that's why I'm saying they have a collective mindset. So if you infect someone with a real worm, that's why I found out that one of the #1 ways that they do in the industry with males, all males, in order to take them over with mind control programming, is to access their anal cavity and insert the Vril so that they can insert their consciousness, their one-minded collective consciousness, and control them from that vril that will now hijack them through their cerebral, through their spine, which is the serpentine energy, because the spine is like a what is it, like a oh God, like a pole. You know, the spine has that serpentine energy that you can almost, like, you know, like a staff. So the energy goes up. So this worm hijacks them at the base of the spine and is able to get them up all the way to the back of their neck and basically take over the brain or insert in certain ideologies in the brain. Okay? So this all has to do with insectilian society. We can make it, bake it, flip it, rub it, you know, knock it down, say it's reptilian. It isn't. It is more AI and insectilian than it is reptilian. Reptiles get blamed for everything. If you talk about reptilians all the time, like David Icke, I mean, why do you think that people have been allowed to sit? Oh, like a lightning rod. Thank you. Thank you. Spine is like a, thank you, Neo. Maria, thank you. You know, when you talk about terms of reptilians, you hear all these YouTubers say, "Oh, you know, it's the reptilians." You think years of David Icke, even though he looks like a straight snake. David Icke looks like more of a lizard than Elizabeth Lizard looked like a lizard. How does a lizard talk? Because a lot of times they will place their own people, controlled opposition, to speak about the things and control the narrative of opposition, because natural people and healthy consciousness and healthy awareness that are getting a certain awareness, they need to know that information is not being sourced from one side. So the nature of people is to look, especially if they feel like there's something wrong on one side, they'll look for an opposite or a perspective that's closer to what they're formulating or coming up with. So they always have a control opposition. All of the love and light communities, all of the pseudo conscious communities, all of them have been usurped by the Willy Wonka system called the cat's in a ray. Nothing you've heard is anything that's organic if it is based in social media. Anyone on social media over 100,000 subscribers is more is in alignment with the Willy Wonka system. It doesn't mean that they're working for the Willy Wonka. I don't want to say that. It's not true. It doesn't mean that they are necessarily purposefully doing things to hurt people or giving narratives that are in alignment with the Willy Wonka. No, that isn't true all the time. But it means that in order for them to reach a certain status online and have a big and huge platform, because listen, anybody who's been on YouTube for a while, many of you realize, most of us on YouTube, all of the greatest YouTubers, I am not one of them. I'm one of many, but I'm not one of the best. I'm talking about our huge intellists. I'm talking about people who are the best ufologists. I'm talking about people who are really biggest in metaphysics and talking about homeopathic medicine. All of them were taken off. And you know that I used to talk about Carrie Cassidy, and you know I had a little beef back in the days with something she shared, but I have to give credit where credit is due, because even Carrie Cassidy, who I may have felt didn't give information in alignment with some things I thought, they even took her channel off. And she had the biggest archive of information and Intellis. That's the one who talked to Norman Bruggram, who's the ringmaker of Saturn book, who talked about the blacks, the tall blacks, that your government had pictures of big black men coming off a spaceship disc with big turbans on their head. How come none of the UFO intellists? Where's your UFO? You know, I always shout out the fakeness in the UFO community. They never talk about the tall blacks and these men wearing turbans, the Moors, the true Moors that are really controlling this realm, the Centaurians, that Norman Brugman. If you want to get some real information, get Norman Brugman's book, The Ringmakers of Saturn. That will humble you to who's really working the magic on this planet. Okay? So, hold on, y'all. I get the coffee's got me. Big up to everybody. Please put a like on the video. Listen, that tastes so much better. It's a little cold. Okay, so when we talk about the vril, and I found out that if you watch the movie, let me state this, because I want to give warnings to people who watch. If I suggest watching something, I'm suggesting you watching it with clarity, with a keen eye, to be able to decipher the information I'm giving, and to make sure you aren't being infiltrated or fear-based or having some insertion that's unnecessary. Okay, so if I'm sourcing something that I want you to see, it's because I want you to see an aspect of the vrilish society the women who are part of the real society that are controlling all of these males. Remember when we talked about the Andromedans is one set of sea stars that represent an aspect of those from Tiamat. From where I come from, Andromedan star system is where we came later, but Tiamat is where we're really from, which is the original Earth. This is a simulated Earth. You understand that's what I know. This is a simulation Earth. This isn't real. This is all terraformed. This was created by your Willy Wonka systems. A lot of the beings here aren't even real. I personally think that the majority of people here are simulated people, empty seeders. Some sort of like, some of them might even be empty vessels, like empty seeders that have things inserted in them, like, you know how you go to an amusement park and you want to have an experience, like beings just come experience. Okay, I don't want to get into seeders and other beings that are using human form in the world with us. Okay, and then robotoids and syntheticas. There's a lot of things going on here. Okay, so if this information isn't for you, just log off, because really in itself, like this channel is a very organic channel. That I haven't paid for any subscribers. People have come to me over the years. I've been one of the longest OGs on YouTube. So if this is information, I'm not coming from JW anything, but I'm just tired of people saying that I'm getting information. I'm not here. I'm an OG. Look at the time frame I started my channel. Okay. So that being said, I wanted to source the what do you call it, Kim Kardashian on that show American Horror, because they were insectoid. That's why they always wear the ant ears. Okay, they're really being disrespectful, because they're wearing the ant ears, representing themselves like they're connected to the Andromedans, who are connected to the ant beings. And the Hopi, many of you know the Hopi also dress in the ant ears, the ant antennas. They're connected to the ant beings as well. It's very disrespectful. They're really some sort of, they're trying to placate themselves like spiders as well. They want to be that. These are like wannabes. They're another form of insectilian that kind of placates itself as something else. So they use these things that are familiar in our cellular memory to kind of hijack the way you think of things. If you watch that series, it's very disturbing. But I want to tell you who is actually ruling, and those were women. And I don't want to call them really anything other than vampires. There's vampiric. These are the ones you hear in the stories that used to eat babies. A lot of times they're very in sync with the Daros, who like to eat babies too. The Daros do all that bloodletting, killing babies, eating babies, doing all the bloodshedding. They're kind of in sync in the same behavior. They're a different group, but they actually, I think they have an alliance. If I had to think about it, the way that the society is set up with these insectilian queens that are hijacking men through these multiple worms that are sent out as an infection in the butt by having sex in the anal cavity, injecting these vril, which hijack the spine, almost like the lightning bolt, and send, kind of take over and eventually send messages and take over the host and influence them to do more and infect, just like the zombie snail. And the zombie snail and the zombie ants' main objective was to infect others. And if you look at that movie that I just saw, my daughter had me watching the video game, Left Behind. Is it called Left Behind? Can someone verify? I think it's called Left Behind. I actually watched the video. The video game was good on live. Like, she had me watching it, the whole fungi thing. And I'm going to go later in what's happening in Asia right now, which you're about to unleash on the United States. So some of y'all got to be up on it. When I told you to leave the country or get ready and pop off, you see what they're doing in Idaho. They hijacked the water. They're getting rid of all your food sources. Everything's infiltrated. The United States has been chopped up and liquefied, and has been sold to many different people. It was a lease that some of you had. That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't have see, some of you were comfortable letting other people being mistreated and marginalized and vilified. You know that brown people in the United States are the most vilified publicly, because the Daros like to have images, especially brown women, doing the most disgusting things. And most brown women, I would say 70% of brown women, are very conservative. Even though on all of your social media, the only people they show acting really hypersexual, like whores, being thought bots, it really propagating that so that they can influence our younger women to act that part. People will say, oh no, there's young girls acting like that. Of course they are, because they're watching the perpetual images that the Darrows are putting out there, because they own all of the social media. They're controlling that. And what they do is they perpetuate those images. So the young girls who are watching that are under mind control programming, social engineering, to want to be like those girls, like a Cardi B, like a Mr. Stallion, trying to be like what's that other chick's name? All of them, the host of them, they're all low vibrational. That is not the testimony, because even when I go abroad, I have to fight those images. And big up to my Brazil homegirls who also feel this way, because Brazilian brown women are shown to be this way, and it's actually a lie. A lot of Brazilian brown women are just as conservative as brown women in the United States and a lot of other places. But if you wouldn't know that, because what is it? Shaking it. You know what I mean? This person said, you can't possibly be conservative because your boobies are big. I didn't know having big breasts makes me non-conservative. This man was like, well, you have big breasts and you show it. I show none of my boobies, y'all. I have a longer, bigger cleavage because I'm much more busty. But how does that make me non-conservative? You don't ever see me thoughting it. You haven't heard of all these men saying they slept with me. I have children from the same man. How is that being a thought? Do you understand the social engineering? Why I say that to you is because the social engineering is why a lot of us think a certain way. And you have to fight the imagery in order to, I know it's low key, right? The imagery is purposefully meant to make people see you in a certain way. So even if crime is done, like if you have a majority of people doing crime, but you only marginalize a little segment of certain people, and you show that over and over of them doing crime and nobody else, even though more other people are doing crime, you're going to make people think we're all criminals. Okay? So I just put that out there. Just to give you an idea of how much social engineering is happening, and how during the cucarachis, when all of these men, and I talked about this in my other video, that all of these men that were sleeping with other men were doing cleanses, parasite cleansing, and finding their wands being erect to women. Let me say it again. Did you hear what I said? A lot of men, I didn't say all. Notice I didn't say all. Listen to my words, because some people are like, oh, she said, listen to what I said. A lot of men were doing parasitic cleanses, however you see it, and they were finding themselves looking at women getting excited. And then all of a sudden, all these weird bumpy videos of monkey balls showed up. Can I put some lip gloss on, y'all? Because I know it's, I'm trying to be appropriate, okay? Because I'm trying to stay on. I'm trying to make sure this video stays up, okay? So can you just put some likes in the video, y'all? Yeah, I'm putting lip gloss on. I just want to, okay? Do not stay here if you don't want to hear this information. Do not stay here if you do not like trans frogs, trans seals, and then trans penguins, because that's what I'm about to change into. I'm mentally ill. This is a comedy skit. I'm not a doctor. So I'm just saying, if this is not content for you, rather than you writing a whole epilogue of how you don't like this video and how you think I'm a thought bot, and that you think that all my ancestors are whores, or that you think that this information is relative, just log off. There's a whole lot of people that are in sync with your ideology and your mindset and your consciousness. I'm just not one of them. Okay? So let's go back. So during the time when cucarachis was like, chop it like it's hot, chop it like it's hot, chop. Okay, so we got cucarachis on the run, because remember when cucarachis supposedly came out, all these inflated numbers, oh, people are falling off boats, oh my God, they're going all over the place. But it really didn't happen until came about, okay? But all these men and women were doing parasite cleanses. And their sexual disposition, not the women, because if women like women, it wasn't changing, but it was something interesting that, you know what? I don't know if the women's disposition was changing. I can't vet that out. Do not strike that from my additive. I don't know. Strike that. I have to research that. I don't want to say that because I don't know. You know, I'll tell you when I know things. I don't know that. I don't know if women who were liking other women change after. I don't think so, because I know women that are gay and they're still gay after they did parasite. I don't. Okay, so I can't vet that out. Let's go back. So all of a sudden, you're Willy Wonka. Some of you don't remember, because in social media, you will never hear this again. You will hear certain things come out and you'll never hear it again. It'll be lost in the sauce, because a lot of your channels are socially engineered by your CIA, cats in a rag. Okay, so all these bumps coming on and these good-looking gay men, they start scaring gay men, because you know in Miami, the gay men are, listen, I gotta give shout outs to the gay men in Florida. They are probably the best looking men, gay men, them and the ones in Rio. Big up to the gay men in Rio and Miami. Y'all got it, like visually, like they are the best looking. Like, I mean, as far as like dress, like body type, they're very, very big on their aesthetics. Like they're clean cut. I'm talking about the best, the creme de la creme of gay, like gay men who are really big into their looks. But could you imagine in that community, they were putting all these images. Y'all, you need to find it and send me the images, because you should have seen the images they were showing all on social media of good-looking gay men with bumps all over the face. Do you remember the monkeypox, y'all? Because you know the videos that they took off of YouTube on my videos were all the monkeypox videos. You know that, right? Why would YouTube be so interested in taking videos that were made 2 years ago on monkeypox? Why? The videos didn't really say much. They took all my monkeypox videos down, y'all. So do you remember when they had images showing gay, good-looking men with bumps all over the face? You know the cord of fear that shot through the gay community, thinking that they're beautiful, hot rod bodies. You know what I'm saying? Fleet, clean. You know how they felt? So then they said, Willy Wonka said, hey, there's monkeypox going around.